Hello to all of you from around the world. I want to thank you for joining us for this edition of Soulivity today. We're broadcasting live from our studio right here in the nation's capital, Washington, D.C., and on KMET 1490 AM radio in Southern California. My name is Brian Wesley Johnson, and whether you're at home, driving, or even at work, we are always glad you're here with us. We have such an amazing show for you today, including a special guest I'll introduce in just a second, as we focus our discussion on health and wellness for another Wellness Wednesday. You know, it's important to us that we provide you with news and information you can use to create and maintain the highest quality life. So let's start here. In 2023, a groundbreaking study led by the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation found that nearly 1 in 100 Americans has inflammatory bowel disease or IBD. Now, IBD is an umbrella term used to describe disorders that cause chronic inflammation of the gastrointestinal tract. And symptoms include diarrhea, as well as abdominal pain, nausea, fever, loss of appetite, fatigue, and at times rectal bleeding. And two of the most common forms of IBD are Crohn's disease and ulcerative colitis. Unfortunately, there are no current cures for IBD. Now, this discussion for me is personal because I was diagnosed with Crohn's disease over 30 years ago. And my journey, like other IBD warriors, has been fraught with ups and downs, some of which are very challenging. And our guest today also shares a similar story. Amelia Meyers is an actress, singer, songwriter, wife, mother, voice teacher, and arts therapist, and the current Mrs. East Coast Petite USA 2024. Now, Amelia was diagnosed with Crohn's disease when she was 17 years old. And after years of trial and error with different medications, she nearly lost her life to the disease in 2012. That is when she decided to help as many people as possible through the vehicle of being Mrs. Marilyn Petite USA 2023, where Amelia launched Kickin Crohn's, a weekly online support group for people who are affected by Crohn's disease, where they come to a safe, non-judgmental place and receive the support and community they deserve. Now, Amelia has appeared on General Hospital on ABC, Days of Our Lives on NBC, All My Children also on ABC, and was nominated for Best Supporting Actress at the Milan International Film Festival for the movie Show Business, which airs on Amazon Prime. Now, she's never let her disease diagnosis stand in the way of her dreams and plans to inspire others to do the same. Now, I just want to welcome Amelia Meyers to Soulivity today. So glad you're here with us, Amelia.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, absolutely. Oh man, you are so impressive.
Thank you so much.
You know, from one Crohn's disease warrior to another. This is. We're going to talk today about this.
Oh,
We're going
yes,
to have a deep
we're gonna get
conversation.
into it. Yes, yes,
Yeah,
we are.
because I think that more education and more awareness needs to be brought forth. I think that as people become more aware, especially like people like your employers, friends, family, they understand why you may do things that you do that may seem a
Absolutely.
little unusual,
Yes.
and that they become more understanding. First question to you is, can you tell us about the beginning of your Crohn's journey, as well as like your first experiences with having this chronic illness?
Absolutely. We'll go back to the very beginning with this. So I was diagnosed officially when I was 17 years old after a colonoscopy, but it all began way before then. The true symptoms began when I was 14, and I didn't want to bother anybody, worry anybody, make anybody feel uncomfortable. I didn't know what was happening. I was 14 years old in high school, doing the shows, starting to date, all of that. And I just kind of went, I don't know what this is. And I would just pop Imodium to get through my days, not eat very much on certain days, and would just bear through it. And when I really think about it, kind of what you and I were saying moments ago, It went earlier, and I don't think I knew, I don't think anyone knew. I've always had a sensitive tummy for as long as I can remember, and I think growing up going, "Why am I eating this and I don't feel well? Why does this hurt?
Yeah.
What's going on?" As a little kid, you go, like, I'm at a party with my friends. How come if I eat a piece of cake, I then can't enjoy the rest of the party because I don't feel well? And so I
Right.
remember that as little as 6, 7, and 8 to a degree, but I never
Yeah.
realized something was truly wrong until I was 14. And
Wow. Wow.
3 years went by. I didn't tell my parents. I just kind of sucked it up and went, I'm going to make the best of this and I'm going to have a great day. And that's what it is. And when I was 17, as you were saying with some of those symptoms, that is when the blood began. That is when some more serious things began. And I went to my mom and my dad and I went, something's wrong. And I
Right.
have the most supportive parents in the universe. And they went, let's figure this out. What's going on? And they got me to a team who believed me, who understood, and we
Mhm.
got the colonoscopy and got that initial diagnosis when I was 17.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow. As you were talking about your early experience, and especially things like not understanding what's going on,
yeah,
and do you tell someone? Because there's a lot I hear from a lot of people who suffer IBD. They suffer in silence and solitude because they don't feel like they can share this with anyone. Is Has that been your
right.
experience both as a warrior and as
Oh,
meeting
yeah,
other people?
absolutely. It goes twofold. The silence of you don't want to worry anybody, like I said. I never wanted to be a burden and go, what's wrong? And spend all this time
Yeah.
trying to figure out what's going on. But on the other side, this particular IBD, Crohn's, what we have, there is embarrassment, there's
Yes.
shame, there's confusion, it's icky, it's taboo. People don't talk about this. And so you just kind of go, all right, I'm just going to keep this in. I'm not going to discuss it and just go through the motions. And all these years later, and the incredible experiences that I've had, the ups and the downs, I'm at a point in life now where I go, no, let's talk about it. There are,
About
so, you
this.
said 1 in 100 people
100.
experience this. That is
Right.
an astronomically high number, and
Right.
there's not a
Right.
space for them to be heard yet. It's
Right.
growing, but it's not there yet. So now I'm active in talking about it, but for many years I didn't.
Talking about growth, I remember when I was first diagnosed in 1988. And I remember like trying to look up information about it. There was nothing.
Nothing.
There's nothing out there. Right? We talked about this too, where we have both have these similar kind of experiences. And I think
Yeah,
at that point, they said roughly maybe a few 100,000 people at that point had been
wow.
diagnosed with just IBS in general, right? Not necessarily Crohn's and this kind of thing. Really interesting question here because I know how I felt about it. So when you went to the doctor, you found that you had Crohn's disease. What was your first reaction to the fact that number one, this was a chronic disease, and two, that there was no cure?
No cure. It was a little bit of shock, overwhelm, fear. Now, I am the kind of person where in a moment of crisis, I stay eerily calm. I have always been that way.
Mhm.
So I remember receiving the news. My mother is sitting there. I remember her asking a bunch of questions, getting emotional. I remember sitting there just going, okay, let's think about this. Let's figure this
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
This is something that doesn't have a cure.
Mhm.
And it had hit the point where they were starting to test for some really scary cancers and trying to figure out what was going on. And that was all negative. And the relief of that was like, oh, great. But then the diagnosis of, but there's no cure or real plan of action for this made me
Right,
go, well, then now what? What do we do?
right, right.
And there, like you said, there were, this was 2001. There were some people who I was able to talk to, some doctors. There were a few resources
Mhm,
that were starting to come out, but not a
mhm,
ton yet. And these doctors went, all right, here are some drugs we can try. And
mhm,
then I went through
mhm.
years of trying different things that didn't work. And this was before you could just
Work.
hop on the internet and be like, what are the possible side effects? And I was having those teeny tiny slight chances of side effects. there was
Right.
Pentasa, there was Asacol, all these different drugs. My hair was falling out. It was making me feel more sick, and the doctors thought I was exaggerating, possibly making
Mhm.
it up, and all of a
Mhm.
sudden I went, "Wait, I thought this was a place I could actually talk and we could figure something out,"
Right.
and I shut down even more. And my mother
Yeah.
and brother and my father, they were like, "All right, let's get you to someone else. Let's figure this out." And we did finally find someone who was wonderful, who would listen, and that was when
Oh,
Remicade began. I began Remicade.
wow.
This was maybe 4 years into my journey is when Remicade finally
Wow.
began, right when I was getting ready to move to Los Angeles to pursue my dreams as being an actor, and I was flying back and forth every 6 weeks for my infusions, and
Mm.
Remicade became, at the time, the miracle drug. I went from having
Yes.
24 inches of infection that they thought they were gonna have to surgically remove to it didn't even look like I was sick, and I could
Wow.
eat and not be in
Wow.
pain, and I went, I didn't
Wow.
realize the bar I had set for myself of, "This is a good day,"
Right.
once the pain was gone, I went,
Right.
"Oh my gosh," and that worked amazingly until it didn't,
Yeah.
until it
I
didn't.
remember. Yeah, I remember my
Yep.
first infusion of Remicade, and
How was
it
it
was
for you?
like I didn't know I could feel that good.
Yes.
I
I
didn't
didn't
know
know
that
it
I
was
could feel that
possible.
good.
Mhm.
I literally kind of felt like my body was just calming down, and
Yes.
this peace was
Yes.
coming
From
over me, you
inside.
know,
Yes.
inside, just like, whoa, whoa. I mean, I literally cried when I got home. Like, like, holy
An
crap! I feel
emotional
like,
relief.
oh
Yes.
man, because I think, and again, we'll talk about this in a minute, but I think what we're trying to explain to people is, you know, this isn't just a physical experience, it's also a very emotional experience as well,
Mhm.
where um, you don't know moment to moment what's going on. And so I guess like you have to keep hope and hopeful and optimistic and a positive attitude. I mean, for
Yes.
me, I mean, the one thing I think about having this disease is that it's really fortified me in terms of being positive about my moment by moment experience in life, right? And to cherish things in life,
Yes.
right?
Absolutely. Absolutely, and
Yeah,
you do need to look everything with optimism and a silver lining, even on the hard days, in the hard
absolutely.
moments. It's
Oof,
that's what you have to the most, but also give in to the emotion. For a long time, I was like, "I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm
right,
fine." And that
right,
doesn't serve you either, especially mentally
right,
and physically in your emotional state. You do need to, when you need to, give in, have that cry,
right.
figure it out, and then go, "Now what? Let's go to that next step."
Exactly.
Yeah.
Speaking of next steps, we're going to take a quick break. But when we come
Great.
back with you, Amelia, we're going to talk about something that happened to you in 2012 that was also a game changer for you. So, everyone, listen, stay tuned. We'll have more with Soulivity today and Amelia Myers on a Wellness Wednesday in just a second. We'll be back in 2 minutes.
Do you see me kneeling on this dual roller called Parasetter? It's actually comfortable because of this channel and the softness of the special foam. It feels like my kneecaps are being massaged. When I lie down, my spine is housed in this channel, while the convex rollers massage my muscles. They let go and lengthen. There's a traction effect from my head on the headrest and my mid-back from the rib wrap, which hugs me. When I start the breathing sequence, I feel calm because my cortisol levels are dropping. Lower cortisol means bye-bye constant hunger. Parasetter is 40 inches long and much more comfortable than old-style rollers, but it weighs only 10 ounces. Parasetter, just like Pilates was, is no longer an insider secret. Do yourself a favor. Reset your parasympathetic nervous system. Defeat stress. Lying, sitting, kneeling, or standing. This unique patented roller helps everyone.
Join us every weekday at 8 a.m. for Soulivity Today.
Whether you're just starting your day or on the road,
Soulivity Today will make your days better.
We will empower you with authentic conversation about the latest news and trending topics. Plus, you won't want to miss our interviews with industry experts.
so sit back, relax, and get ready for a whole lot of fun.
Soulivity Today, weekdays at 8 a.m. only on KMET 1490 AM radio and ABC News affiliate. Hey there, we're back here with more on Soulivity Today for a Wellness Wednesday with our very special guest, actress, singer, songwriter Amelia Meyers, as we talk about being an IBD warrior and an inspiration for people across the world. You are such that, Amelia. Thank you for being here again.
Thank you.
Um,
Thank you again for having me.
you know, like me, again, there's a lot of similarities here. And I think there's other people who've had the same experiences with IBD, specifically Crohn's disease, which is the chronic one, right? 2012 was a turning point for you,
Yes,
as that year you almost lost your life.
I
Tell us
did.
about this experience.
This was one of those life-changing, life-altering experiences that I did not see coming. So, backing it up just a little bit, in 2007, I moved from Washington, D.C. to Los Angeles to pursue my career in Hollywood as an actress and a singer-songwriter. And I booked General Hospital rather quickly and began my life there. I didn't tell anyone I was sick. I did not want this to impact any type of booking. I didn't want a director to be worried about bringing me on set. I didn't want craft services
Mm,
to feel like, oh, I have to provide something extra for her. I just did not want to rock the boat. And I had
wow,
begun
wow,
the Remicade treatments back east. And luckily, there were also a lot of family weddings that first year. I didn't have a chance to get homesick because I was popping home for weddings and Remicade every 6 weeks. And it was really helping at that time. But of course, you still had to watch what you were eating. You had to watch your
right?
stress level. And let me tell you, as an actor in Hollywood, your stress level can go from here to here in
Oh man.
0.002 seconds.
Oh
But
yeah.
learning how to manage all of that. In fact, I had to prep for a colonoscopy while on set for General Hospital One. This is something I don't recommend.
Wait. How in the heck
True
did you do
story.
that? I I
True
I
story.
I would always just take off. Like, no, I'm not coming to work. Just how did you what?
I got the call. I was working that Wednesday and Thursday, and I had a colonoscopy in the books for a few months. It was happening that Friday, and I went, "Oh my goodness, I cannot believe this is happening." And you didn't know your call time until the day before. So I was hoping maybe I was earlier in the
Wow.
day and I would get home in time. And of course, I had a slightly later call time and went, "Oh my gosh." And I brought everything to set with me and went, "I cannot believe this is about to go down." And I wrapped in time, of course, before everything really hit. So I was able to get home in time. But the
To
whole not eating and having to take the first few doses, this all
s
happened on set between scenes, between takes. Oh my gosh. So, yes, that is
right.
a story I'm telling in full in my book, Kicking Crohn's, in fact, that I'm fleshing out because it was, oh, was it an experience? But
Y
I was working really hard, and in Los Angeles, you have to have day jobs in order to survive, and at one point, I had to have 6 part-time jobs, and I still
Wow,
wasn't fully making enough money to do what I needed to get by. So it was very
wow.
stressful. I was also rehearsing for a new world premiere musical. There was a lot going on, and I started not feeling well in a
Ooh.
different way, a different capacity.
Mm,
And about
mm,
6 months before this, I had also fallen ill, and it turned out it was a pericarditis, an inflammation of the lungs. And we were
mm.
like, "What's going on?" This was the beginning, and I didn't know it. Flash forward 6 months later, I'm someone who doesn't run a fever. I don't know about you, but my normal is very low. So if I have a
Mhm.
99.1, it's considered elevated, a slight fever.
Okay, okay.
I woke up with a 104.1 and could not
Whoa.
move. So it just the room didn't look right. Everything felt wrong. And it was
Wow.
3 hours later here in DC, and I called my mom going, "Something's wrong." And she said, "Wake up your roommate." And what did I do? I don't want to bother her. It's the middle of the night. It's 4 o'clock in the morning. So I went out, and Katie McGuire, I love you. I will always love you. I left a note on her door, and I just went, "Hey, If you happen to wake up and you see this, would you please knock on my door and take me to the hospital? Then within half an hour, she went, "Get in the car. What are you doing?" And we went to
Wow.
the hospital, and I thought I was just going to have my fever broken and sent home kind of a thing. And
Mhm.
it turned into an 11-day stay at the ICU, intensive care unit at Cedars-Sinai, and I had 4 teams working on me because they didn't know what was wrong. I had infectious disease on me. The head of the
Wow.
it was wild. This is how I got to Dr. Vasiliakis. Thank you, Dr. Eric Vasiliakis at Cedars, because I still had my team here in DC. And they went, "You're there in this crisis. We're not there with you. You need
Right.
someone there." And so that's how I wound up with Philip Zakowski, thank you too, the infectious disease head over there, and Dr. Vasiliakis. And I had to have a spinal tap. They didn't know what was wrong. And it went through this 11-day. I didn't realize how close it got until after the fact, quite honestly. I do remember waking up towards the end of this, and my dad was standing there at the bottom of my bed. And I went, "Hi." I remember having this thought of, "Hey, dad." And then the thought of,
Like,
"Wait, am I in Maryland or is this so serious? He's here." And the night before, my mom came out at the beginning of this. The
mhm.
doctor had said to my mom she may not make it through the night.
Ooh,
And she called
ooh.
my father and he got on the first plane. Now, no one told me this. And my sweet, incredible husband, Jason, I love you. He had the ring in his pocket. He was planning on proposing the next week at the show. He had worked this out with the producer. They wouldn't let him in the room during certain things because he was my boyfriend at the time. He did not leave my side. He was right there. And it was the most insane, life altering experience. They pulled me off of all drugs. After the Remicade stopped working, I started something called 6-MP, which we thought was a good thing. And I was on that for a few years, but that was sort of the drug that caused things to start breaking down. And little by little that week, my organs were failing. Things were shutting down. My body was just rejecting. It was shooting out IVs. My body was just saying, "I'm done." And I only
Wow.
remember, to be perfectly honest, about half of that week. And there are times, even now, 12 years later, I'll have a flash of something and say something. And my
Right.
husband goes,
Right.
"Are you remembering this now? Do you need to talk about it?" I'm like, "How much of this do you recall that I
And
don't
he's like
recall?"
he's like, "I remember everything because
Like,
I
"I
was right
remember,
there."
I was right there." Um, there were odd, and this was very odd. I remember getting up to use the restroom once,
Mhm.
and it was easier to get up than other times. And I have this actual memory of like,
Mm.
"Oh, I'm able to get up because I was tethered to IVs and this and that."
Right.
And I got to the bathroom and I turned around. I kid you not, I saw myself in the bed with my mom on one side and my husband on the other. And I had the actual thought of, this is not a good thing. Something is going on. And I don't
Oh,
remember too much more than that in that moment, but I clearly had some sort of out of body experience. And I don't know what was coming for it. I don't know what could have been, but it changed my entire life.
wow. 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 Wow.
Yeah. It
Okay.
scarred
So
me
what
for
we're gonna
1
do
year.
is
I'm going to
we're gonna
change.
let
I don't want
we're gonna
anything.
let while you're doing this, we're gonna let
Okay,
people kind of let this sit in, and we're gonna take
please.
another quick break. But when
I'm
we
ready.
come back, everyone, we're gonna be talking about how Amelia made this turn from surviving to thriving. So stay right there. We'll be back with more Soulivity today in just a second. Hi there, this is Brian with Soulivity.com. I want to share some exciting news about our new Aspire Academy by Soulivity. Now, you probably want to know what the Aspire Academy by Soulivity is. Well, it exclusively connects you with people around the globe and who share the intense desire to improve themselves and create a better life for themselves today. There's classes, there's workshops, there's live events, and even more exclusively just for you. You see, I wanted you to have a safe space where you could grow, you can learn, and it would empower you in all aspects of your life, including your mind, your body, and your soul. So, how do you get started? Well, it is so easy. First of all, the best part, joining Aspire Academy is absolutely free. Just click on the Join Now button, sign up, and begin your journey. As a special part of this invitation to you, there are some free courses that are available for you to try from our amazing roster of coaches and collaborators. It's our way of saying thank you for all of your support and being with us along our journey of expansion. I hope you enjoy the Aspire Academy by Soulivity today. Start the process. Learn more about your passion, your purpose, and how to live a higher quality life. Hey, we're back here with more on Soulivity today for Wellness Wednesday with our very special guest, actress, singer, and songwriter, Amelia Meyers. Holy crap.
Ooh,
You know, in the last segment, everyone, we were just talking about Amelia's near-death experience, which we both kind of share. I mean, I won't go into mine yet today,
I
but
do want to hear all about it though. You and I will talk
yeah,
about it.
yeah, we'll talk. We'll,
Yes.
we'll talk. First, did you make some decisions right after or during that experience that like where okay, there's this things going on with me, there's things that maybe I want to complete or there's things that I want to accomplish? um can you tell us if that was part of this experience as well?
Absolutely. So,
Okay.
like I said, my now husband, my amazing husband, uh, had the ring in his pocket. He was planning on proposing. This was all set at the for the show that I was doing. And I remember him saying to me, like, get out of bed, get out of bed. And he did. He proposed 1 week after I was released from the hospital. We were at the show. My understudy was on stage and they pulled me up on stage for curtain call and Jason got up on stage and did it because it was planned. And that was
Oh,
amazing. And I was thrown into wedding planning and this next stage of life and very much tried to subconsciously or consciously bury what had happened. I was like, okay,
oh
let's
wow.
shove that under. All right, moving on with life. Let's do it.
Uh-uh. Uh-uh.
Don't do that. If anyone ever experiences something like what we have gone through, don't do that. It comes back and haunts you. About a month after I was released, I got a call from one of the nurses at Cedars-Sinai to check in and set some new appointments. And in the middle of it, she pauses and she goes, "Oh my gosh." And I went, "What?" She went, "I'm looking at your chart. You're lucky to be alive." I went, "What are you talking about?" And this was when I realized how serious it was. My white blood cell count had dropped to a point where you are medically not supposed to be alive. And that's how I found out that the organs were shutting down,
Mm.
everything was going on. We had stripped me of all medicine at that point, all Crohn's medicine. We were trying to reset my system completely. I had already begun the paleo diet, but before it was a fad and not what it is now, like the true anti-inflammatory stuff.
Right, right.
And my husband, he gave up pizza. He really leaned into it with me, and we rediscovered the kitchen together while we were planning the wedding. And my mother said multiple times during wedding planning, "I'm so happy we're planning a wedding and not a funeral." And the third or fourth time she said that, we hugged, she cried, I cried, and I was like, "What actually happened?" And I had to talk to the doctors, see what was going on, and face what had truly happened. And it can mess with you mentally to a degree that I was not expecting at all. And I am a go-getter. I am a glass
Oh yeah.
half full, entrepreneurial, let's make it happen. And I found myself suddenly stuck and paralyzed and scared in a way that I had never felt before. I was
Mm.
afraid to go on a hike. I didn't know if my body could do it. I was
Wow.
afraid to go to set. I didn't know if I was going to make it through a 12-hour shoot. And I
Yeah.
found myself starting to recluse in and
Mhm.
not
Contract.
be me. And I went, "This is interesting. I'm going to focus on the wedding. I'm going to focus on the wedding." And we got through the wedding. And then I had a Crohn's flare a year after we got married, began Humira, which has been for me wonderful.
Okay.
And that's what opened things up. And I went, wait a minute,
Mm,
what am I doing? I've got a second chance here. I nearly
mhm,
passed away. There, I have
mhm,
unfinished projects I need to do. I've always wanted
mhm.
to be a mother. I
Yeah,
want to help other people who have gone through this because I'm sure there are tons others who haven't even taken a step in the direction to help themselves because they're scared. And it
yeah.
opened up that entire world for me. And I began talking about it. Different directors who I'd known forever didn't know I had it. Casting directors, producers had
Mhm,
no idea. And they'd be like,
mhm.
my cousin has this. Can she talk to you? My friend's mother has this. Can she talk to you? My friend's boyfriend. And I went,
Yeah,
absolutely, here's my number. And it
yeah.
sort of informally began of being able to help people. And I went, there's something to this. And I
Right.
threw myself back into work, became a mother, which was the greatest thing, is the greatest thing. I have two amazing girls, Lila and Helena. They're 5.5 and 2.5. And they are my universe. I love you. They are my whole world. And then
Wow.
COVID hit. So COVID hit between Lila and Helena, right? And
Mhm.
the world shut down. We had to leave Los Angeles. We're back in Maryland.
Okay.
I get pregnant with Helena. We're staying in Maryland. And then one of my best friends said to me, Amelia,
Mhm.
Amanda Jarris, I love you forever too. She went, did you know that there is a pageant for petite women, 5, 6, and under, called Petite USA? I was like,
Hello.
no. She said, did you know there is a Mrs. division inside of that? I was like, no. She went, you need to do this. I went, I'm good. I'm good. Like, I'm a mom of a 10-month-old and a 4-year-old. Like, I'm good. I'm an actor. I'm a singer. She went, you've always wanted to do more with Crohn's disease. Every one of these women have a platform. Think about it.
There you go. There you go.
And I
There you
went,
go.
what?
There you go.
Okay. I submitted,
Mhm.
went through the whole process and won. And I became Mrs. Maryland 2023. Thank you. I was
Mhm.
thrown
Mhm.
into this world of pageantry, this world of, I mean, it's even glamour above Hollywood as far as what you do and how you prepare and all this stuff. And I feel
Right.
so congeniality, but these women are amazing. And they truly
Right.
are each trying to do something. And I
Right.
went, I'm going to lean into this. And that is
All
how
right.
Crohn's was born. And that is how this platform
Wow.
and journey I'm on now happened. I went to nationals last summer. I'm now Mrs. East Coast Petite 2024. I'll be returning to
Mhm.
nationals with a regional title, and we'll see what happens. But my entire platform is Crohn's disease awareness, advocacy, and getting the word out
Wow.
there. So
Wow.
that is how I took
All
what
right.
happened, and I'm moving forward.
Well, all right. What bring out the crown. Bring out the
Oh,
crown
oh
real
yes.
quick.
Oh yeah.
Let's see it. Let's see it. I know some of you who are listening on radio won't say, "Oh." All right now.
Yes, right.
Queen.
It's right here.
Queen.
Yes.
Oh, all right. Snaps.
And my
Snaps for that.
daughters love it. Oh, thank you, thank you. And then I've got right here my official, this is the East Coast sash, but I've got my
Oh,
Mrs. East
wow.
Coast Petite 2024
Oh,
sash.
wow. That's amazing.
Thank you.
So all these things that you see
Yes,
represent a lot of things at a deeper level for you
yeah,
than just the quote unquote aesthetic, right? The aesthetics of the crown and this. When you look at those things, you're reminded of where you were and where you are today and what you've embraced.
yes. Oh my goodness. To hop back to Remicade, something that I'm sharing now again that I didn't used to share, which you have
Yeah.
to go to the hospital usually for the infusions or an infusion center.
Oh yeah.
And you're in the same room with patients receiving chemo and
Yep.
fighting for their lives, and you're sitting in the
Absolutely.
chairs right with those people, and you start
Absolutely.
questioning yourself, how sick
Hmm.
am I?
Right.
What is
Right.
my body doing? And you become
Right.
friends with these people. You see them every 6
Absolute.
weeks
Oh
and
man.
you
Oh yeah.
bond. And then you go in one day for a treatment and the chair next to you is empty because that person who you had become so friendly with has lost their battle. And let
How
me
many
tell
times?
you,
How many
oh,
times have like hearing a bell ring will never be the same again for me.
never be the same. Never be the same. And you, I
Mm,
mean, and
I'm getting emotional just thinking
I
about it
am
right now.
too. I mean, I feel it right here. I lost several people who I'd become truly friendly
Yeah.
friends with
Yes.
doing
Yes.
that. And it
Yes.
messes with your head and your emotional state.
Mm,
And you want
mm,
to be
mm.
there for other people, but you realize what's going on with you. And
Yeah.
it is a mind trip. It is a mind trip. And I don't know the infusions, I'm sure I know they've advanced. There are things you can do at home. You can even take injections and shots at home now. It's
Right.
different. But
Hmm.
going through this at 17, 18, 19, 20, all the way till my crash was in 2012, and I had Remicade until just a few years before that.
Hmm.
Going home in my early 20s, and then someone who I really had been friends with for 3 years suddenly got worse and lost their battle.
Exactly. Exactly.
It's
Exactly.
heartbreaking.
It's tough. It is absolutely tough.
Yeah.
And so proud of you for, really embracing your life and taking this leap of faith into this new platform, right?
This
Because now you're
unexpected
standing
adventure.
right, and now you're
Yes.
on this platform where you're helping a lot of people, right? Both people who are afflicted with the disease, but also loved ones that are trying to support people who have the disease as well.
There are people who care for those and they don't know what to do and they're lost. And you nailed that right on the head. I want to help all of those people and let them know that there's a community and a space and we can help them too so that they can be there for their loved ones in the way that they
Absolutely.
both need.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So let's talk about this. Let's talk
Yeah.
about some of the advocacy things that you're doing right now. We'll start with Kicking Crohn's, which is this wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. I've been all through this. I've been all through this. Which
Thank
at the
you.
heart, yeah, which at the heart and center of this is this support mechanism, right? Can you tell us a little bit about like how it began and what you're trying to do with it today?
Absolutely. So people started coming to me, like I said, going, may I pick your brain? How did you tweak your diet? What do you do when you're feeling so down, like you can't do anything? What do you do when you feel like your body is betraying you? And I sort of became this unofficial helper, an advocate for
Hmm.
people. And once Mrs. Maryland really launched, and I knew Crohn's and colitis and everything was going to be my, especially Crohn's, was going to be what I was going to support. I went, support. People need support. And
Yeah.
when I first started this, there weren't support groups yet. Some do exist now in different capacities where you can go and you can talk, but it didn't exist yet. And I wanted to find and fill a niche that only I could do in this world of pageantry and in Hollywood that doesn't
Mhm.
exist yet. And the Kickin Crohn support group was born, and it was during
Wow.
COVID. So we would meet at 2 p.m. Eastern online. And it was just this a very informal Zoom at first. And it was only a couple people. We just go, how you feeling? How's your day going? How was your week? What do you want to
Mhm.
talk about? And it began to grow. And we started talking about weekly topics. And I started bringing in some guests. And people were going, I want to know more about this. And that's when we launched the site. And so people can go in and sign up now. And people come in. I mean, again, I would love for it to be global and everyone come in every single week and just have this safe place to unload and talk and
Wow.
discuss. And certain weeks we'll have a guest and a full subject we can talk about. And other weeks it's just who needs to share? What's
Sure.
your
Right.
name? Share. How are you feeling? We're
Right.
here for you. And that's how it
Right.
began. And now it's growing. I'm writing the Kicking Crohn's book, which is my personal autobiographical story with Crohn's disease, being an actor in Hollywood, becoming a mother, and all of the
Wow.
recipes that I have tweaked with that anti-inflammatory diet. My favorite 20 recipes are sprinkled in throughout. So it's my story, but then
Wow.
also how food can be your friend again and heal
Wow.
from within. Um, and working towards all of that. And I just wanted to inspire and grow and show people what I like to say is we have this disease. It is part of who we are, but it doesn't define us. And we can
Yeah.
do and be anything we want. And there is a place for
Yeah.
you to feel safe, grow, laugh,
Mm.
cry, whatever you need. I've got you. And that
Mm.
is where
Mm.
it's
Mm.
starting to spread to.
Thank you for doing this. I mean, people can learn more about Kicking Crohn's by going to kickingcrohns.com.
Yes.
We're going to put this in our chats as well. But this isn't the only thing that you are engaged in. You're
Thank you.
also heavily engaged with the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation as well, and they have an event
Yes.
coming up here in DC,
Here in
which is
DC, they do.
yeah, exactly, which is Take Steps.
The Take
You
Steps
know,
walk.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah, 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 yeah. Tell
It
people
is,
about this.
oh, it is so incredible. I wish I had gotten involved with the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation earlier. They are such an inspiring group. I was in Los Angeles just last week, actually directing a show, and I met with the Los Angeles branch while I was there. So now I'm able to meet with other branches. But the Washington, D.C. branch, this is who I am partnered with. It is a walk that you can fundraise, and we need to find a cure, but it's all about the community coming together, and we walk as one, and there are speakers, and you
Mm.
can write on sashes who you're supporting, and there are teams. The Kickin Crohn's team will be there again this year to represent on June 1st. But you see all these different families, and they're rallied behind their loved ones and their friends, and people have team shirts, and it's this day of togetherness and inspiration, and they always have somebody get up and speak. I spoke last year along with a couple other people. Maybe I'll be speaking again this year. In fact, my 2-year-old would let me put her down last year. I was speaking, she was on the clip. It was really cute. And it's just this incredible, the energy. I don't know how to describe it. People are there together to support each other, to say we're not alone, and let's do this in solidarity. And it's a walk, and there's food, and there's music, and face painting for the kids, and it's this real family event to include everybody. So please come check it out. You're welcome to join the Kickin Crohn's team. You can just come
Yeah.
and support in any way. But June 1st, that's where I will be.
Okay. Well, you'll probably see me there with you now that I know more
Yay!
about it.
Yes,
Um, and ev-
absolutely.
and everybody, please go to the Take Steps with Crohn's and Colitis Foundation site, where you can learn more information about how you can find your walk in your area, because this is nationwide. You can go to takesteps.crownscolitisfoundation.org. Again, we're going to put all this information in our chat so that people can learn more information about how you can take steps toward cures for IBD. Before we get to the end here, just want to kind of like talk a little bit about um, the fact that these organizations exist. We're trying to, all these organizations exist to the point of trying to find cures and trying to make life easier. But I really love the fact that with Kicking Crohn's, there's this safe space, right, that is available,
Yes,
because I think probably one of the number one things that is harmful to people who are afflicted with the disease is this sense of solitude, and that you're alone, and that you have to do this alone, and that when you do have flares or symptoms, that you have to suffer in silence. And I
yes,
think I know my own experience of that. um my life changed when I started opening up more,
yes,
right?
yes,
And opening up
absolutely.
to support, and people who really wanted to support you were there to support you.
Yes,
Again, has that been your experience as well?
1000%.
Yeah.
It's the suffer in silence and the solitude. And when you start with a flare and you kind of go inward, it puts you into a depression. You
Yeah.
disassociate, you disconnect with your own body instead of healing and
Hmm.
being with it.
Hmm.
And it takes such a mental and emotional toll, as well as physical, when you're going through something. Opening
Yes.
up and allowing people in the good, the bad, everything that's going on, it changes everything. And that is the
Hmm.
main reason why I wanted to launch Kicking Crohn's and build a support group. And this sounds a little cheesy, but if I can help just one person, then that's why I've had to go through all of this in the first place.
That's
And
okay.
being
We
able
we can be
to
cheesy.
these cheesy if we want, right? And that is why we're brought here. And you have to help and serve others in that way. And now I'm in this, I always wanted to do this as an actor and a singer, which of course I still am. But now this unexpected journey of now being a beauty queen and using that entire world to be able to do this,
Right.
everyone there has been like, tell me more. And I made connections
Right.
during nationals last year with someone else who was there who had it. And it's going, wait, you have it too. Let's talk about it. And the support opens up, the love opens up. Your body feels a difference when you have that connection and that support.
Yeah.
And that is why it is so important to have that safe space.
Oh man. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And again, it allows for you to open up and to see your condition from a different perspective,
Yes.
where you and I mean, we're out here doing this thing and trying to change lives and trying to keep
Mhm.
people more informed, and nothing has stopped, right?
Mm.
We both have beautiful spouses, beautiful children,
Mm.
our life is good. And there becomes the realization that that is the state, right? Life is meant to be good for all of us, right?
Yeah.
Regardless of what our conditions are. And
Mhm.
so, um, just thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing your life.
Course.
And I
Thank
love
you
the
for having me
legacy
to
that,
share.
yeah, would you come back and just check in with us?
1000% anytime.
Yay!
Absolutely.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Um, what are some of the other projects that you're on really quickly? I mean, I know you're still doing stuff in
Yes.
film, television, and that kind of thing. Can you tell us a little bit
Yes.
about what's going on there?
Oh my goodness. I was just in Los Angeles directing a show called Breakthrough. It was my husband and I, our 8th year co-directing this show, and we were able to hop out and do that, which was wonderful. I was part of it was online, but a musical workshop for a new show, which was incredible. And
Wow.
now taking the steps of now that things are opening back up post strike. I don't know how much you know about
Hmm.
the industry and all the strikes that
Oh,
happened.
oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Whoa. So there was a lot
Yeah, we
going on
covered
there.
it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oof.
so it was a lot. Everything stopped again, and just after COVID, so there was a lot going on there. But now things are opening up. There are some projects in the works I can't discuss quite yet, and then there are other projects that
Ah,
which I'll be able to share soon. And then on the
yay.
Kickin Crohn's front, my husband and I a few years ago, and we are relaunching it. Married to Hollywood is a podcast that he and I have about being married to each other and being in the industry together and what that looks like. And it's been such
Okay.
a fun journey, and we're going to be bringing that back. And I'm also launching the Kickin Crohn's podcast, and I have some exciting guests lined up for that. The cookbook that I'm working at, yes, the cookbook that
Wink,
I
wink, nudge,
wink,
nudge.
wink, absolutely. The cookbook that I have going on, and right now is really getting ready to prepare for nationals, taking Kickin
Mhm.
Crohn's national. Like I said, I met with the Los Angeles branch, and I just want to get that going so that Petite USA happens. And if I am lucky enough and graced with the national title, it's already got a national platform. So I'm just kind of plugging
Wow.
away in all of those different arenas.
Wow. Well, you got our support here at Soulivity and my
Thank you
personal
so
support.
much.
This
Thank
this
you.
is just amazing. I love, again, these are the stories that we want to tell, right? We want to tell the world about that, this thing doesn't stop the show. The show keeps moving.
It does.
And when you know that you're not alone on top of it, it just supercharges everything. So,
Supercharges
but
everything. It does. It
so
does. Oh,
Amelia,
and if anyone is
yeah.
getting married, uh,
Hmm.
my other business is Dance and Romance. I choreograph original first dances for weddings. We were featured
Oh
on the Beach of
man,
Southern
that's cool.
California in Los Angeles, and now that we're here and things are opening up, I'm relaunching here in Washington, D.C. So
Oh
anyone
man, now
who wants
that's hot.
to do that,
That's hot.
please.
That's hot. Because I love that. I love when people who are, getting married and they have their own dance. My guess is you do like the daughter father dances and stuff like that too, right?
We can
Like
do that
the
too. I do the spouses, and it can be all different kinds of things, but it's fun and it's artistic and it's energizing, and it's another creative outlet for me that I love as well.
Oh man. Well, this has been great. I wish we had more time.
Me
That's why you got to
too.
come back.
I'll come
That's why
back.
you got to come back.
I will
Okay.
definitely
All
come
right.
back. Thank you.
All right. All right. Maybe we'll do a segment on you kind of teaching me and my wife how to do some dances or something,
Oh
you
my
know.
gosh, that would be so fun.
Maybe because our anniversary is coming up in September, so maybe we'll learn something for that, you know.
Oh, I love that. Yes, we'll talk. We'll talk, definitely.
Oh man, thank you so much for being here on Soulivity today. I
Absolutely.
appreciate all the work that you're doing so much, so personally. And I can't look forward. I mean, I can't wait to our next conversation together. I know it's going to be fantastic.
Thank you. Me
And I'll
too.
be in touch. I'll keep in touch too, about different things,
Yes,
so we can kind of report on what's happening with you and
definitely.
that kind of deal. Oh man, thanks
Absolutely.
again. Oh
Thank
man.
you so much.
This has been great. Everybody, just thank you for being here for Soulivity today. Just want to remind you that you can find out more information about everything that we're doing by following us on social media. Specifically, make sure that you follow us on YouTube, because every time that we go live, you'll be notified as to when we're, going live and what shows. We've got fantastic shows that you can go back and watch. Also, Soulivity Today is a podcast, and so you can go and download us and take us wherever you are around the world on your favorite podcast provider. Also, visit soulivity.com, where you can get more inspiration for your passion and purpose. Again, we've been talking about this fantastic interview with Belinda Carlisle from the Go-Go's from back in the day. She's here and doing so many wonderful things. This is an interview with from D'Angelo Thompson. It's a really great read, and you can catch up on everything that she's doing as well. Listen, we're running out of time. Just want to thank each and every one of you for supporting the things that we do here at Soulivity, specifically this show at Soulivity Today. Remember, again, follow us on social media, so you can find out more information about like tips and things that you can do in your life, as well as upcoming things like this show as well. Also, just want to remind you too that, listen, keep working your passion and purpose, right? Passion is about finding something that you can just be so inspired to do every single day, regardless of whether or not you're making money, that kind of thing. You're just inspired to do. Use that to serve. That's your purpose. And then sooner or later, you're going to create that high quality life of, your best life today. This is how we do it Monday through Friday, right here on Soulivity Today, on Soulivity TV, and on KMET 1490 AM radio, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. Eastern for Soulivity Today, 8 a.m. Pacific time for all of you guys out on the West Coast who know about the mighty Met, KMET. And listen, this is Brian Wesley Johnson saying thank you for joining us again, and we'll see you later. Again, keep working that passion and purpose, and you're going to create that best life. Bye for now.
This work is subject to copyright owned by Affinity Global LLC. Any reproduction or republication of all or part of this is expressly prohibited unless Affinity Global LLC has explicitly